That'll work. Alright. Okay, so to carry on where we left off, question 10 and 11 are based on the following information. Right, an index of clothing prices for 2005 based on 1998 is to be constructed. So 1998 is your base year. Okay, remember, with an index, you need a base year, which is always 100, and then you'll have 2005, which would be based off that year. The clothing items are considered socks and ties. The information for price and quantity. Okay, so there's price and there's quantity. Obviously, you've got 1998 and you've got 2005. Use 1998 as the base. So they even told you that. They didn't have to tell you that, but that's what they said. Okay, so now we need to look at the formula for Lasperer's price index. Okay, so we need to get that equation from your formula sheet. Where is your formula sheet? Okay, let's go to the. It should be in here, hey?
Yeah, it's the last page.
There's it. Okay, so Lasperus would be there. PL. Okay, you got the same formula. Good. Okay, so you're using the right equation. That's great. Right, so take a snapshot of this. Paste that here. And that's what I'm going to be using. Okay, page 20 is the formulas, 6 is where we are, hey? Okay. Alright, so we've got price, we've got quantity. This is obviously your base here, so this would have been your 0, and this would have been your 2005, which is what? 7 years, hey? Yeah. Okay. Right, so there's the formula. We actually need to write these things down, so let's shrink that. Okay, so I need, okay, so see there, P0, Q0, PN, Q0. So quantity is always this. So this is the most important bit because you're always timesing it by those things. So if I draw those columns, P0 is this column, 75 and 40. Okay, Q0 would be that, because that's 2008, well, 1998, 500 and 1200. Okay, and then what do I want? I want PN. PN is the price for N. N would be the year that you're looking at, which is this one. Okay, so PN would be the 85 and the 45. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Alright, so that's what you've got. So what do they want me to do? They want me to calculate what PNQ is. So PNQ0. Right, that's the numerator. Okay, so numerator, I need to work that out. It's this times Qn. Where's Q? Oh, Q0 times that. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so enter. And then I need to do the same thing for the other one as well. Okay, for the ties and the socks. Alright, then I need to look at Q0 and P0 and Q0. So now P0, Q0. Okay, that's the denominator. So P0 is there times Q0 is there, gives me that. P0 times Q0. Hold on. PN times Q0. Oh, so this should have been that PN. Okay, wrong formula. I wrote PN, so it's PN times Q0. That's better. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Right, so
yes.
PN, there's PN, there's Q0. P0 times Q0, P0 times Q0. Okay, now that's correct. Alright, so now once we've got that, then they say sum up this. So then the sum sum up the other way around, so it'll be the total. Okay, so sum up the PNQ0, so get a total. So the total for those two is that, and the total for those two is that. Right, so now how do I get the Laspers? I just need to take this, and I need to put that into the equation. Okay, so PL bracket N is equal to the sum of the PNQ, which is the 9650, divided by the POQ0, which is that 85,500. Right, times 100 equals 112.86. Option 3. You round it off.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's how you do it.
I couldn't see that one number, so that's why I made my mistakes.
Okay.
So the thing I used is correct.
Yes, that's good.
But I got a different number because I thought it's 1,700.
Oh, from here?
Yes.
It's 1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine, not a problem. Okay, so next one.
Oh no, that's not what I did.
Okay, the next one is POSHK. Okay, so POSHK, go to page 20. Get POSHK.
Can you stop for a moment? I just want to ask something about the Laspers.
POSHK. Just ask, because remember I'm recording it separately, so I have to just keep going.
Yes.
Okay.
The 1,700, I got 1,700 because I plus the 500 with the 1,200. So I'm not quite sure where my mistake is.
You have to do them separately. Okay, so look at the formula. The formula says sum up the Pn times the Q0. So Pn times Q0. Pn is here. Q0 is here. So you first need to multiply them together. So 500 times 85 gives you that. This times that gives you that. Okay, then you add those two. Okay, you add that. You don't add that. Okay, you're adding the sum of the P times the Q. You're adding the sum of the P times the Q. Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
So it's easier to draw up a table in the examination and then do it from there.
Yes, okay, because you need the P and the Q and all of that. Okay, which is the same thing I'm going to do here. Okay, so now POSHK is which one?
The PP and in brackets N.
This one.
Yes.
Okay, so you copy that and you write that down here. Then we go back to the question. Okay, so there's the question. We need that information there. Alright, so now I've got what? Pn times Qn. So I'm going to copy this, because that's from the question, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but then I need the quantity, so I'm going to have Qn here. Okay, so Qn would have been this one, which is the 520 and the 1300. Okay, so now what do I need for POSHK? I need Pn times Qn. So write a column. Pn, Qn. Okay, so how am I going to get Pn, Qn? Pn times Qn. There's it. Okay. Alright, then I need to do the same thing for P0, Qn. P0, Qn. Alright, so P0 is there times Qn is there. Right, then I total it. Get that and that. That's what I need. Okay, so now if I want to do the POSHK, I just plug everything in. So what do I have? PNQN. PNQN, the sum, which is the 102,
Yes.
divided by the P0QN, P0QN, which is the 91. Okay, times 100 equals.
Yes.
102.85.
I want to. So it's number 3.
Okay, 3.
Okay, so I realized my mistake.
Right, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, number 12 is looking at CPI. Okay, so there's the question. Let's do the calculation here. Question 12. Assume that in the year 2014 the CPI was that in Feb and 1105 in November. Okay, an employee's wage was 20,000 in Feb and that in November. In relation to the value of the rand in November, his wage was what? His wage in which month though?
Well, I thought it's like November, so I said 22,145 minus the 20,000 gives me 2.
Oh, they want to look at this, increase or decrease.
Yeah, so
Okay, in relation to the value of the rand. Okay, so that means that we need to do this. Okay, what was the first year? 2014, 2015. Right, in terms of the index, CPI for 2014 was at 102.7. CPI for November actually was 110.5.
yeah, but it's the same year.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just the months. That's what we're looking at.
Okay.
And then we've got the wage was 20 and 22145.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm looking at in relation to the value of the rand, alright, so in relation to the value of the rand, his wage has increased or decreased. Okay, so looking at CPI, do you agree that's the base year, basically?
Yes.
Alright, so the difference here is this minus that, and the difference here is this minus that. Okay, 7.8. So the difference is representing 7.8. So in terms of CPI, has your money gained or lost value? That's the key. Alright, so obviously inflation has gone up. Okay, so what is the percentage increase? Right, so let's work that out. So percentage increase would be what I have now, 110.5, minus what I had before, 102.7, close bracket, divided by 102.7 times 100. Okay, that means there was a 7.59% increase in CPI. Okay, inflation.
Okay.
Right, my wage was that in 04 or 14, and now it's that in 15. Okay, so in relation to the value of the rand. Right, so now if we increase the 20,000 by 7,594,937 ... percent, what do we get? Let's check. Okay, so 20,000 times brackets 1 plus this divided by 100, close bracket, equals that. Okay, so that means that if you have 2,000, okay, 2,000 is what? Your starting wage at that point in time. Okay, what is inflation? Inflation is from here to there. So inflation means that this is going to increase by how much? 7.59 according to inflation. So if your wage is going to increase in line with inflation, it needs to increase to 21518. Okay, what is the wage now Well, the wage now is this.
2245.
Yeah, so in terms of rand value, okay, that's the one amount, and that's the other amounts. Okay, so the difference is this minus that. Okay, 602. Did they want that? No, they didn't. Difference was 602. So they're not providing for the time value of money then, looking at this. So looking at this, you would just go with that. Okay, I actually made the calculation more complicated. Alright, if they just look at rand value, then it's just the 2145.
Okay.
Yeah, so you didn't have to provide for the for inflation. Okay, it's just a note here. Okay, asterisk, there isn't an answer for the 626, 0127 calculated here, meaning that the rand amount is not provided for using inflation. Okay, so yeah, they spoke about it in relation to the value of the rand. Okay, so they just look at the value of the rand. Right, then I would look at that. Okay. Right, question 13. Okay, this you just grab that calculator exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have to do fancy maths. You can if you want to, but it's not really necessary.
It's
Okay,
just
so
calculator.
yes, can you work it out on your calculator? Or did you already?
I did already.
Okay, fine. So then let me just work it out. Scientific. Okay, so the answer, can I use that? Alright, shift clear just to make sure everything's gone. Everything, AC. Okay, so let's see. Simplify to two decimal places. So 8 to the power 2 over 3, 2 divided by 3. Maybe I should put that in a bracket just in case. Okay, plus log. Okay, where's your fancy log? But yeah, that one, there's the one. Good. Okay, log 2, 32, and then just equals 9. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was very easy on a calculator.
Yeah, so you just use that thing. Right, remember, no one is ever going to know how you got that answer. You can use mathematics to do that, but I wouldn't. Why? It takes too much time.
Yeah.
Okay, it's easy just to type that into the calculator. And they said simplify anyway, so you don't need to show all your steps. Okay, so option 1. Okay, question 14. The sum is equal to. Okay, so this notation means what? It means I is 3 and I goes to 5. And you're summing all of it. So I is 3. So 3 squared plus 4 squared plus 5 squared. Okay, so 9, 16, 25. Okay, so that's 25 and 25 is 50.
Yes.
Okay, 2. Alright, good. 15. Okay, 15 and 16 are based on the following graphs. Okay, so they've given you graphs. Obviously, you've got happy and sad. Happy graph, sad graph. And you've got intercepts. There's an intercept, etc. Determine the vertex of the graphs A and B respectively. Okay, so A, the vertex is there. And B, the vertex is there. Okay, we need it, but respectively, determine the vertex. So you could probably read this off the graph.
Yes, that's what I did.
16 and it looks like 4.
Yeah, there's actually just a freeze, so...
Or is it in the middle? If you draw a line down, is it halfway?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, if you draw a line down, it's half, then it's a 3. Okay, so it'll be 3 and 16. So it's looking like A.
Yes.
And then 3 and 1. Let's see, 1 here, 3 there, yes. Okay, perfect. Yeah, option 1, read it off the graph. You could do it mathematically though, but that'll take a lot more time.
Yeah.
Okay, determine the x-intercepts of each graph. That's also easy. Just
Yeah.
look at the intercepts. Okay, so here we've got a 7, here we've got a -1, here we've got no intercepts. Okay, so B has no x-intercepts.
Yes.
Right, so 1 and 7. Determine the x-intercepts for each graph. So A will be -1 and 0, and 7 and 0. So A will be this one, and B none. Yes, perfect. 4. Okay, question 17. Here's it. Okay, this is looking at the system of inequalities. Okay, system of inequalities mean take the information in the question and reduce it to mathematics. That's basically what you're doing. You're taking all this English and you're creating formulas that describe what's actually here. Okay, so we need to read and we need to write down. This is too big. Now we can read it. Okay, so CDF Appliances has assembly plants in Umlazi and Ilovo, where they produce a variety of kitchen appliances, okay, including a 12-cup coffee maker and a cappuccino machine. At the Umlazi plant, okay, so (160) of the 12-cup models and 200 of the cappuccino models can be assembled every hour. Okay, so Umlazi, 160 models, 200 machines assembled every hour. Okay, so this is assembly. Assembly every hour. Okay, at the Ilovo plant. Okay, so now Ilovo plant, 800 models and 200 machines can be assembled every hour. Okay, CDF Appliances expects orders for at least 64,000. Okay, so orders at least 64,000 models. Okay, 12-cup models, and at least 40,000 machines. Okay, that's what I've just read. At each plant, the number of assembly hours available for these two appliances is constrained by the plant's capacity and the need to fill the orders. Let X be the number of assembly hours at the Umlazi plant and Y be the number of assembly hours at the Ilovo plant. Okay, so Umlazi is X, Ilovo is Y. Okay, so looking at this, this would be a constraint. That would be a inequality. Okay, so if I'm looking at the models, I'm looking at that. Okay, so at least 64. So 160x plus 800y must be less than, at least. So greater than or equal 64,000. Okay, and then obviously I've got that. And then that's the machines. Okay, so for this one, it's 200x plus 200y must be at least greater than or equal to 40,000. Okay, let's go choose an option. 160x plus 800y greater than or equal to 64,000, that one. 200x plus 200y greater than or equal to 40,000? Yes. And then x and y both must be positive. Yes, so 2. Option 2. Got that?
Now, yeah, my interpretation.
Okay, yeah, it can be challenging, and that's why I like writing stuff down. Okay. Right, one of the extreme points of the solution space of the system of inequalities in question 17 is. Okay, so 17 is looking at this. Now you've got those formulas. Okay, you're looking for one of the extreme points. Extreme points would be the points on the system of inequalities. So obviously you would have this and you would have that. Okay, you would have zeros there. Alright, so for this one, we need to check for the intercepts. Okay, so for this equation, x-intercept, y-intercept, I want to know what it is. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so to get the intercept, I want the equation y equals mx plus c. Where's the plus? Plus c. Okay, so to rearrange this formula, I'm going to write down 800y greater than or equal to 64,000 minus 160x. Okay, so then to make the y on its own, divide everything by 800, yeah. So 64,000, I think it's 800. 64,000 divided by 800 is 800. No, 80. Okay. Right, minus 160 divided by 800 is what? Where's the decimal? There, 0.2. 0.20x. Okay, so there we go, that's it. Right, I only want the 80 actually. Okay, so the y-intercept is 80. Okay, x-intercept I get when y is what? 0. Okay, so x-intercept when y equals 0. Alright, so let's make y 0. 0 will be there, so it'll be 0 equal to 64,000 minus 160x. So 160x equals 64,000. X equals 64,000 divided by 160 equals 400. So I've got 400 there. Okay. Alright, then I need to do the same thing for this one. Right, so y equals mx plus c. Take that, write that down, make the y the subject of the equation. So 200y equals 40,000 less 200x. Divide everything by 200. Y equals, that should be 20. 40,000 divided by 200. Hold on. Did I make a mistake with the first one? 64,000 divided by 800 is 80. Okay. 40,000. That right? Yeah. 40,000 divided by 200. Oh, 200. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. 200. Minus x. Okay, so then what is your intercept? 200. Okay, what is your x-intercept? Make y 0. If y is 0, x must be 200. Okay, so now we've got everything. Okay, perfect. So that means that if I draw these graphs, 480, y-intercept is 80, x-intercept is 400. So 80, 80, and 400. X-intercept is 400 and 80, and then here x-intercept is 200 and 200, and then 200 and 200. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm looking for the extreme points. Okay, so obviously this is 160x plus 800y must be greater than 64,000. Okay, so do you agree if I had 0, 0 here? Okay, 0 times that is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. Is 0 bigger than 64,000? No. So we need things on that side of the line. Okay, so the extreme points would be here. Let's use a different color. Okay, so if I'm highlighting the feasible region, that's the feasible region. Okay, so 50 and 150. Where's 50 and 150? We don't have it. 50 and 150, 50. Oh, they're giving all 50 and 150, so it's probably this point. Okay, so let's find that point. Okay, so how am I going to do that? Simultaneous equations. Okay, I need to find where this graph meets that graph. Okay, so let's go back. Let's do that working. Where's my two equations? Paste. Okay, so find where the two graphs meet. Okay, where they touch. Alright, so let's use what we wrote down here. Okay. Which was that, hey?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically if I rearrange this, I'm going to get y equals that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now take this and put that into there. Alright, so wherever I have a y, I'm going to put in 200 minus x. Okay, so 160x plus 800 times 200, 160,000. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, 160 minus 800x equals 64,000. Okay, so that would be negative 800 plus 160 gives me that x equals, take that across, so it's going to be 64,000 minus 160,000 gives me that negative, then divide by negative. So x, therefore x equals, x equals this divided by that. Okay, 150. Okay, so then what is y? What is y? Substitute in. Okay, so we know the equation for y is that. X now has a value of 150, so y equals 50. So extremer would have been x is 150, y is 50. X is 150, y is 50, option 2. That was a tough one. Okay, you had to think. Alright. Okay, 19. Vuyo owns Boerewors roll stand. His profit selling Boerewors rolls is given by that equation. Y equals that, where X represents the price of a Boerewors roll in rands. Vuyo wants to maximize profit. Okay, as soon as you see that, maximize profit means get the derivative. So get the derivative. Okay, when I see the word maximize, I need the derivative. Okay, so dx or dy over dx equals. Okay, the derivative for this would be 2 times negative 40 is negative 80. Negative 80x plus 980. That's the derivative. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the derivative. What do they want? What should the price per Boerewors be in order to maximize profits? Okay, so make that equal to 0. So negative 80 minus 80x plus 980 equals 0. Solve for x. X is going to be 980 divided by 80. 12.25. Okay, so 12.25 is the price, option 3. Right, so we're going to have to sell the boerewors roll at 12 Rand 25 to maximize profits. Okay. Right, 20 and 21 is looking at the following. 20 says, define the marginal profit function. Okay, where you see the word marginal profit function, marginal means the derivative of the profit function. So first get the profit function before you can derive it. Okay, so a firm sells its product at 200 per unit. That's the selling price. How do I get profit? Profit is revenue minus costs. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so profit equals revenue minus costs. The revenue here is what? 200 Rand per unit. So 200 times what? Where X represents the number of units sold per month. So 200X. Right, the cost per unit per month is 80 plus, is that an X? Looks like it.
It's an X, yes.
Yeah, 80 plus X. So then the costs per unit would have been 80 plus X times X. Okay, equals. Alright, so what is that going to give us? That's going to give you 200X minus 80X minus X squared. Okay, so then 120X minus X squared. Okay, so 120 120X minus X squared. X times X is X squared, right? Oh, to define the marginal profit function. Okay, no wonder it's not there. Okay, now we look at marginal. Alright, so do you agree that's the profit function?
Yeah.
Profit equals that. Okay, so now obviously marginal profit function is the derivative. Okay, so get the derivative. So if I get the derivative of that, it's going to be 120 minus 2 times X is 2X. There's it. Okay, so 120 minus 2X, option 1. Makes sense?
Now it does.
Okay. Alright, what is the marginal profit at the production level of 20 units? Okay, so then plug that in. So take this, plug in whatever they said, 20 units. So X is what? 20. Okay, so 120 minus 40 is 80. 80, option 1. Okay, just plug in the value. Right, 22. 8,000 is invested, 6% simple interest. Okay, simple interest requires that formula. So S equals PV brackets 1 plus RT. You don't have to remember that, you can just go to your formula sheets. Okay, find the value of the future value. So future value is obviously the S. Present value is 8,000. Open brackets 1 plus RT is 6%, 0.06, times 9 months, 9 over 12. Close brackets equals. Come, answer 8360. 8360, option 2. What's wrong?
Not this one.
You got it wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, did you use the wrong formula?
Yeah.
Okay, possibly. Okay. Right, question 23. 5,000 invested, so that's PV. 5,000. 8% compounded daily. So I365 is the rate. The rate is 6%, 6% divided by 365 days. For 5 years, N is 5 years times 365 days. Gives you however many days. 5 times 365 gives you that.
Yes.
Yeah. Next. Find the future value of the investment. Okay. Assume there's no leap year. So no leap year means 365 days a year.
Yes.
Right. Solve for FE. Okay, you type that into a calculator, equals FE brackets. What is my rate? My rate is 0.06 divided by 365. My N is that. My payment is nothing. My present value is minus 5,000. Okay, answer 6749.13, option 3. Got that?
No.
Okay, almost.
I forgot to divide the 6% by.
Oh, okay, because yeah, it's daily.
Yes.
Daily rate, yeah, okay. Alright, 24. You've taken out a loan. Loan PV 25,000 and requires you to make payments PMT minus 10,000 each time at the end of the next 2 years. N is 2. And pay the outstanding balance at the end of the 3 years. Hold on, that doesn't make sense. Let's read it again. You've taken out a loan 25. Requires to make equal payments of 10 at the end of each 2 years. Okay, so let's draw a timeline. T0, T1, T2, T3, T4. Okay, so I take out a loan, 25 here. I'm going to pay 10 there, and I'm going to pay 10 here. And then there's going to be a balance that I'm going to have to pay at year 3. The debt and the payments are subject to the same rate, namely 10% compounded per year. I equals 10% per year per annum. What is the outstanding amount that you have to pay at the end of the 3 years? Okay, so they want you to know what this is. Okay, so what am I going to do? Well, I need to take everything to the same point in time. Alright, so I'm going to have to take this forward, take the loan forward, and take the payments forward. Alright, so let's start with the loan. Loan, payment, payment. Ooh. Alright, so now I need to take the loan, so take this forward to time 3. Okay, so equals future value, brackets. The rate is 10%. Okay, how many periods am I taking that forward by? 3 periods. I'm taking the present value, which is 25,000 forward. Okay, that gives me that. So that's the loan amount at time 3. Alright, now I need to take the payment forward. Okay, so equals future value of the rate 0.10. N is, I'm taking that payment 2 periods into the future. Alright, present value negative 10,000. Close brackets gives me that. That's what the payment is worth. This is the payment at T3. Okay, and then I need to do the same thing for the other one, but only for 1 period, not 2. Alright, so what is the balance? Balance outstanding is going to be, well, the loan minus this payment and that payment gives me that balance. Okay, option 3. Right, so we had to draw a diagram for that one.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Okay, yeah, it's a tough one. Some of these are quite difficult. Right, question 25. What lump sum will be needed to generate payments, PMT, 5,000, at the beginning, BEG, begin mode, of each quarter? Okay, so N is quarters, for a period of 5 years. 5 times 4 is 20 quarters. 7% compounded quarterly. I4 is the quarterly interest rate. 7% divided by 4 equals, okay, 7 divided by 4 equals that percent per quarter. Alright, so solve for the PV equals, okay, so PV, open brackets, what is the rate? The rate is 0.07 divided by 4. Okay, the number of N was 20 quarters. The payments were minus 5,000. Okay, solve for the PV, 83,764,41. Option 2. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, 26. Find the lump sum that must be invested in order for annuity to provide 1,000 at the end of every period. Oh, hold on. This was begin mode. Okay, so I need to actually do begin mode here. Be careful. Type begin mode. Begin mode I think is 0. Let's just check. Did that change the answer? No. Then I think it's number 1. 85. Oh yeah, I think it is 85. Can you check on your calculator?
Yeah.
Okay, on your calculator, type in all of that stuff, but use begin mode. I think it's 85, not 84, but I could be wrong.
Ah. 83805.
8?
83805.
Oh no, something went wrong. Okay, let's try again. Shift clear, M clear, reset 0. Okay, so 5,000 payments, 20 N, and then 7 divided by 4 is that's the I. I want begin mode. Begin mode is shift that, begin mode. And then I want to compute present value. Okay, 85230.28. Yes, that's actually correct. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so that should actually be the answer. So it's actually option 3. Okay, be careful. Use begin mode. Alright, so yeah, I made a mistake the first time I did it. I used end mode, not begin mode. Alright, now that's the right answer. Okay, 26. Find the lump sum that must be invested in an annuity in order to receive 1,000. So PMT is 1,000 at the end of each month for 16 years. So N is 16 times 12. $192 months. The rate I12 is equal to 9% compounded monthly. 9% divided by 12 equals 0.75% per month. Solve for, find the lump sum PV. Okay, so PV here, open brackets, the rate is 0.09 divided by 12. The N was 16 times 12. The PMT was negative 1,000. Close brackets equals 101,572.77. Option 3. Yeah, time value of money are nice questions because you just need to use the calculator.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Okay, but you'll get better as it goes with more practice. Okay, a 42-month car loan. So N equals 42. Has monthly payments, so PMT equals 411,35. If only cars were that cheap to pay off. Okay, if the interest rate was that I12 12 equals 8.1% divided by 12. 8.1 divided by 12. Okay, is that percent per month? Find the unpaid balance immediately after the 24th payment. Okay, so that's going to be a amortization. So first solve for the PV. Okay, that's step number 1. Right, so on your calculator, PV is the rate. The rate is 0.081 divided by 12. Okay, the N here was 42, hey? 42, yes, 42. The payment was negative 41135.
Yeah.
Close brackets, answer. Okay, I get 14,999,90. Okay, then use the amort function to get the 24th balance. Okay, so let's do that on the calculator. Alright, so on your calculator, shift master clear, reset everything, reset yes, shift master clear, reset. Okay, so we're ready. So now let's put that in. 42 is your N. Payment is 411.35. That's the payment. The I is 8.1 divided by 12 equals, that's the rate, that's the I. Okay, solve for the PV, compute PV. There's my PV. Okay, so now what do? I go to amortization. Okay, so I press amort. Okay, what payment do I want? I want the 24th. So 24, enter. Okay, scroll down to P2, 24, enter. Scroll down, that's the balance. 6950. Option 2. Balance is 6950, comma 13. Oh, and that's 27, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't do the amortization, I did that.
Yeah, that's good. So you still did the first part, that's great. You just needed to do the second part. Okay. Alright, 28. Find the amount of each payment if a debt of that is amortized. Okay, so it's a debt, 25,000 is your PV. Equal quarterly payments over 6 years. N is 6 times 4, which is 24 quarters. The rate is I4, which is 7% divided by 4. Percent per quarter. Alright, solve for, what do they want here? Payment, PMT. Okay, so equals PMT bracket. The rate here was 0.07 divided by 4. The N here was 6 years times 4. 6 times 4. The PV was 25,000. The payment comes out to 1284.64. Option 3. Okay, 29 and 30 is based on the following information. Right, a man buys a house for 200,000. So that's the PV. 200,000, not 20, 200. Okay, that's very cheap. He makes a 50,000 rand down payment. Okay, so that means minus 50. Okay, so the 150,000. And agrees to amortize the rest with quarterly payments. N equals over the next 10 years. 10 years times 4 is 40 quarters. Interest is 12% compounded quarterly. I4 equals 12% divided by 4, which is 3% per quarter. What is the size of the quarterly payments? Solve for PMT. Okay, so PMT is, the rate is 0.12 divided by 4. The number of periods was 10 times 40. The present value was 150,000. His payments are 4,503 cents. That's not there. A man buys a house. He makes a 50,000 rand down payment and agrees to pay off the loan with quarterly payments over the next 10 years. That's 40. Unless I made a mistake here. Let's put a bracket here maybe. 12% compounded quarterly. 12 divided by 4. 10 times, oh, 10 times 40. There's the mistake. Take away that. That's better. Okay, I inserted it wrong. Okay, 6489.36, option 1. Right, now use amortization to get the question 30. What is the total amount of the payments? Oh, we actually don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need amortization. Question 30. Total payments equal. What is the payment? 6,489,36. How many payments are you making? 40 payments. Equals. Alright, so this times 40 gives you 259,574.27, option 3. And that completes the question paper, hey? That's the last one. Perfect. Save. And that took an hour. It's really good.